TV Guide magazine. Thank you very much for coming. This is Community Season 4. Greendale Community College is represented by two separate but equally important types of people. The goofballs who run around stirring up trouble, and the eggheads that make a big deal about it. These are their stories. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the cast and producers of Community. First up, she's a psych major, and she's not a whore, but if she were, she'd be the super classy kind that gets flown to Dubai to stay in an underwater hotel. Ladies and gentlemen, Gillian Jacobs. Space-time fan number 1 and cool. It is all about Jamie Pooty. He's been on the show from the beginning. It's the executive producer of Community, Russ Krasnoff. Of Community, executive producer David Garasio. Next up, Greendale has her warmth like a Barbie in a microwave, and she's a good grade in a tight sweater. It's Annie, ladies and gentlemen, Allison. He's more handsome than the guy who's famous for being handsome. It's Ryan Seacrest Holt! Next up, you love her, she's Big Cheddar, and she's the only one from the Greendale game who will be spared in the rapture. It's Shirley, ladies and gentlemen, Abed. One of the community writers whose credits include basic lupine urology and the show's Law & Order parody is Megan Gans. His credits include Pillows and Blankets, last season's Ken Burns Lake documentary episode. It's Andy Wobro. Jim Ranch, Donald Glover, and Ken Jeong can't make it because they've got like big movie career things going on. And Chevy, I think he couldn't find parking, so he's unfortunately not here either. Nor is Annie's boobs, but I am representing Annie's boobs in spirit. So. Allison, you have something to say?
I beg to differ.
Okay.
6-year-olds.
So,
somebody boo my boobs.
Rejoice! Rejoice!
Alright, so let's start off, like, the big question on everyone's mind. So Moses and David, it's gonna be okay, right?
It's all gonna be okay. Yeah!
You guys have anything you want to say to start off?
Yes, listen. A couple months ago, we were a lot like most of you, just huge fans of the show who thought it was one of the most special things on television. And suddenly now we're here, helping to keep it going, and the only thing we care about is keeping it this sort of weird, wonderful gem that it's always been, and that's just not going to change.
Community kumbaya, it's all good. Anyone else want to say anything? I mean, obviously, first off, season 4, it was something that we weren't sure was going to happen. You guys have got to be pretty psyched at this point. You're coming back, and it could be on for 6 seasons in a movie. So,
I would say there wouldn't have been a season 4 without you guys. Because your flash mobs and your fake beards and your blood sacrifices and all those things culminated into the greatest fan base that any television show has ever had in the history of all television. So if we do get canceled after 13 episodes, I blame you.
So don't go out on Friday nights. You have an appointment at 8:30. So you can wait till 9 to go out. Watch live, right? That's always the message. So let's talk about season 3, because one of the big things about this past season was sort of the growth of all these characters, and you guys ended on such a positive note, and I think some of that came out of you sort of, just in case this was the final season, wanted to go out with a little bit of closure. Obviously, thankfully, the show's coming back, but talk about sort of the place that your characters are in now, and some of the relationships. One of my favorite relationships this season was Jeff and Shirley. Something that we never got to see before. Of course, the foosball episode.
Our characters slept together a lot.
Yeah. Finally.
Around season 4. You know what's funny? Joel and my relationship kind of mirrors Shirley and Jeff's relationship. He teases me a lot, and I beat him in foosball a lot. It's not true.
He calls me Tingle Town. She did that way before.
That's why I was in the script, because he's on himself.
I'm totally incompetent. So sad. Yeah, I hope there's more anime in this season, because we could have never pulled that off physically. We could have tried, we did. And so, in conclusion, we really like this relationship.
Joel, are you happy to work with me?
I am, for like 2 hours out of the day, it is... No,
it's a 16-hour day, guys.
Yeah, it's terrific, especially when sports are involved. And Nick Kroll, in that, I should point out Nick Kroll,
he was amazing.
who played the head of the Germans, was...
amazing.
He should have won an Oscar for that performance. It was amazing.
There might be coming back. They spoiled everything.
Germans are coming back, huh? What is up, Nick?
Joel, Jeff went through a little bit of evolution this year.
Yeah.
It seems like he's learning that he actually kind of likes these guys, that maybe it's...
Yeah, that, and when I look back at the episodes, my character got accidentally high a lot. Well, there was the Seacrest Hulk episode where I ran around destroying a bar mitzvah, and then I got that white powder and I ran into the study room and axed the table. So I hope that happens a lot more. But yeah, and I think this is the first time Jeff actually really likes the group and cares about them. And now with the, as I can say, I guess, we're going to meet his father. Yeah. And I will tell you right now who the actor who will be playing my father.
Do it, Joel.
Eddie Murphy, everybody. Very exciting.
I want to see that happen.
Pluto Nash himself.
Eddie Murphy,
Love you, Eddie.
So, Danny, unfortunately Don's not here to sort of talk about Troy and Abed, but this year that relationship was really tested, and thankfully it sort of worked out in the end. But talk about sort of going through that.
It was hard. It was really hard. The best friend. No, it was. I thought it really interesting and kind of cool to explore them in a rift. It was the first time we actually got to see Troy and Abed not agree on something, because we're used to them just being like, let's crab walk home and just agreeing and doing it. So it was a cool relationship aspect to explore this year. The first time I think we did that scene where Donald reached out to give me the high five, and Abed just kind of turns and leaves. It was the most heartbreaking 10 seconds of my life in this other community. I was like, that is our thing! That's our thing! But I thought it was cool. It was nice to see how these people interact at home in their apartment. And I think we got to see a lot of that this year. Even though the Dreamatorium is down, There's still the little dreamatorium.
Yes, you did save a couple pieces.
That Abed managed to keep for himself. But I thought it was a fun world to explore. And although I'm always happier when we're just doing Troy Down in the morning.
Maybe. That morning nights.
Nice. That was good. I think that might have been the first time you got to see Troy Down barefoot. So ladies, look out!
There's actually a couple Tumblr blogs devoted now to Troy Abed barefoot. So.
All right, Troy Down feet. Look it up.
So I'll also talk about, I mean, Annie obviously moves in as well, and that sort of changes her, it changes Troy Abed as well. I mean, that dynamic was pretty fascinating to watch.
It was fascinating. This season was sort of, I think over the 3 years we've just witnessed like the de-evolution of Annie, who started so tight and scholarly and was very concerned with school, and just then the second season she was just concerned with boys, and then the third season she really, like in the Annie's Move episode, it was all about, the big joke was about being loosey-goosey, but I really think she's lightened up a lot living with the boys and is kind of like taking steps backwards into in the land of maturity, but in a good way, I think having her fun in the dreamatorium and not really teaching the guys much of anything, but having fun with them, yeah. Troy and Abed and Annie and the
What are you doing? What are you doing?
No.
Oh.
What do you mean you got?
Yeah, wasn't that your thing? Yeah.
How to be loosey-goosey in the show.
Keep it loose, keep it loose.
Gil?
Russ needs to do TikTok.
Can that be the rest of the panel? 45 more minutes of this, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially on this show.
This is good chair dancing.
So, Gillian, talk about Britta. I mean, she now has a major. She's, diagnosing everyone.
Yeah! Major! Everybody say, hey!
Majors?
Yeah, I have a major.
So is Britta still the worst?
Oh yeah. She inadvertently helped some people. I feel like she accidentally gave Joel some good advice. Jeff Winger some good advice. I kind of helped Abed and was almost killed by him towards the end of the season. Yeah, I count.
Yo, he was gonna saw my arm off.
Yeah, he was. And I was sitting there doing nothing about it. Allison and I were sitting there watching Danny come in with a bone saw and having like, not gonna address that.
And then I just leave it there and then we just go and hug it out.
Yeah, just go hug. I love that's one thing I'll say about season 3. Some really good hugs. A lot of good hugs. Really good hugs. Troy and Britta hugged a lot. They did. And very well.
We hugged in the Halloween episode for a while in the cabin.
Yeah, we did more than hug in that cabin.
Ah!
What?
Majors!
Yep, I fuzzy.
I think this was the most emotional season. It was also the deadliest, although in the end, we find out that Starburns kind of... Not so good.
Question mark. He is the most reluctant actor I've ever met in my life. Somebody who was handed a character that's become a fan favorite and
Just decides he doesn't want to do it.
doesn't want to do it.
He had enough.
Yeah, but he's left it open just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, and Jeff Winger killed Pierce's father.
That's amazing.
People are like, that doesn't seem like a big deal.
It's all in the darkest timeline.
The Glee Club.
Yeah, the Glee Club was
Oh, Glee Club.
Name another comedy on television that has this much murder.
You guys killed up.
John Goodman died. It was the whole Glee Club.
Yeah, you like CSI with white.
John Goodman.
So it's really you guys in Breaking Bad.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we also had a meth lab explosion.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
And by the way, Gus Fring was a guest star this season. It's all coming together now, people. So, let's talk about sort of your character this season, and sort of renewing the vows, and then sort of the sandwich stuff.
Sorry, I had a
So
Malcolm Jamal Warner moment. I'm sorry. Sort of wedding and I go there.
Much like Jason Bourne. Yeah. She hears the words Malcolm Jamal
I
Warner.
just go, he's really lovely, you guys. It goes without saying, first of all, that to see this much humanity in here at the crack of dawn is amazing. I know a lot of them slept outside and we've been on the Twitters. We're aware so much. I know there's you know, this Nathan Fillion guy coming later. I know that's exciting. Screen at Comic-Con, but we know that a lot of you are also here to see us, and that really makes us very, very happy. I was really happy that Shirley got to be a little independent this year. Like Malcolm came back and she chose her kind of independence and her sandwich shop over being a stay-at-home mom again with Andre and the kids, which I thought was really great. And I love working with this handsome man to my right, and I hope that we get to do more.
Yeah. Do you think Shirley will ever give up the purse, just like separate herself, like put it in one room and then go?
What is in the purse?
Let me tell you something about that purse. I really think Shirley has that purse because I always have my purse. Like I almost brought it out here with me. Now I'm from the inner city of Cleveland, and you just don't leave your purse. Without your purse. So I think that kind of became part of Shirley's thing, but my whole life is in that purse.
That's all so
Well,
Yeah.
I saw that you have those Comic-Con swag bags.
That swag bag would be nice. Strapped across you, all your stuff. Yeah, I like that swag
Well,
bag.
there's still some recurring questions. Like, we're still trying to figure out who Jeff is texting.
I'm just composing text, not necessarily.
He's not finished.
No, he's just texting his hairdresser. I don't think Jeff tweets. Maybe he does. He's only got one
You
phone.
did because you lost all those followers because they don't like Ben Sherman's winter collection.
It just wasn't up to snuff, all right? They just
You don't watch the show.
Since we have you guys here, let's talk about two of the fan favorite episodes from this season. First, maybe we talk about pillows and blankets. It's obviously sort of follow up to the Blanket Fort episode from last season, but talk about it and sort of how it sort of evolved into Troy Abed's Battle Royale.
I don't know.
You're the writer, tell us.
It did kind of start with the Blanket Fort in the episode in season 2 in the conspiracy theories episode, and we all had, by the end of that season, we all had sort of felt like we didn't really, boy, that was a fun concept that we didn't do enough with. It served that episode really well, but we always kind of, heading into season 3, we were like, something else is going to happen with this. And we also, it was important to us all to really explore the Abed and Troy relationship in a way that would be gutsy and it would be true to the reality of the show, which is that Troy and Abed are wired differently, and as close as they are, there's bound to be some changes in Troy that aren't going to happen in Abed, and so we just, when it came time to. I know when it came time to write that episode, I'm not sure when we decided to marry the pillow fort, blanket fort with the rift between Troy and Abed. It was somewhat of an inside joke because when we made the pillow fort in the conspiracy theories episode, there was a budget constraint, and the art department or the set designers came. Dan wanted a pillow fort, and it was written as a pillow fort, and they said, well, we don't have time to make a pillow fort. A blanket fort is quick and easy. We can just drape blankets over a framework, and it was a big disappointment to us, and not a disappointment to anyone else in the world. That's how Abed would see it too. It's like, there's a difference between a pillow fort and a blanket fort. It's just it just naturally came to be that, so that's the argument. That's going to be the argument that splits these guys apart. And I think that's how it happened.
Well, let's, next up, the cast actually picked some of their favorite clips from season 3, so we're going to take a look at it right now.